Okay, welcome back to my video. Not that it's a one long video, it's another video. Welcome back to another video. I have my snake thing. It's not a snake, it's a caterpillar. Why do I work like this? I'm so like precise. I'm here to speak to you today about, I want to talk about confidence in a relationship, right? Because I was on a train today, funny enough. I just came back from a performance which went interestingly. It was the first time that I performed in like 2.5 years. I don't even remember, like before the pandemic happened, I don't even remember the last time I performed before then. And I've definitely not performed since then. And that's been like 2.5 years, I'm sure. For sure. So then, so today I performed for the first time and it was interesting. I don't know how it went. I mean, I did get a good like reaction, but I don't know how I would react to what I did today. What did I say I was going to talk about? Confidence in a relationship, because I was on the train home. So there was a bunch of boys. I'd call them boys because they were a bit young. So they were between like 18 and 22, I'd say, like in that range. So I was sitting there and I was listening to the conversation, and then further along the carriage, the train carriage, there was a group of girls, and obviously they got off at North Greenwich, which is the O2 Arena. So there was obviously an event, and that's probably what you do. You go out with your mates to an event. I don't do that. I don't have friends, so I don't know how that feels like, but I'm guessing that's what you do. So I got onto the train and they were already there, and then I sat down like in my little corner, just like, please don't look at me, like, and just like pretending that I don't exist and just sitting there. So then I could hear them like chit-chatting away with each other, and they're like effing this and I don't know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why do boys do this when they're together? Like, and they just seem like really quite like immature and talking about immature things that just was like finding things funny that was just a bit like not funny. And then the girl, one of the girls from further in the thing, she said, where are we? Like really loud, like, where are we? And then one of the boys decided to answer her and say, Bermondsey. Anyway, she totally ignored him. And then the guy opposite, like sitting on my side, he said, I wish I could have the confidence to do stuff like that. Like, look at you, probably shooting your shot. And then they was just like bantering about the fact that the guy had the courage to answer the girl. And then I was just like, I witnessed the innocence of life, where like these guys are literally just trying to like impress people, and and then one of them even said like, oh, but I wish I was married already. Anyway, the energy I got from that and what I was perceiving that was happening here is that boys literally want girls and girls literally want boys, and they just show off in front of each other. Sorry, I'm not saying that girls and boys, because obviously there's like girls on girls, boys on boys, I don't know what else to say. There's loads of mixtures of everything, so I'm not saying that, but in my world, that's what I am. Like, I like boys and boys like me, so that's why I always use that example. So anyway, and I'm just witnessing that the boys want the girls want the boys, and they're just like too immature to just do it and to just be honest about it. And then the girls go on like, yeah, I'm too cool for you, like whatever. And then the boys go on like, well, I'm just gonna have fun with my mates, innit? And like pretend that you don't matter, because I'm just gonna have fun with my mates, and then and it is fun with my mates, innit? So oh my gosh, it was just like really, I guess in one sense it was like really nice and innocent to like witness it, like, oh, you guys just really want each other and you're just stupid, plain stupid. And in another sense, it was just like, this is long, like this is long. I don't have the patience to deal with this type of, not that I deal with that type of thing anyway, because obviously I don't talk to people, but if I was the girl, I would not have patience to deal with that. But I could just see that the guy wanted to be witnessed by the girl, be with the girl, be liked by the girl. And I feel like girls don't really know that, because they're too busy in their brain trying to be good enough and trying to deal with all these emotional things and these thoughts and stuff. And then really the guy literally just wants to be liked by the girl, and he wants the girl, and she just doesn't see that. And also, I don't think the guy realizes that the girl wants him back, that she literally wants him too. And I feel like he just feels like she doesn't, so then he just like gives up even trying, because he just thinks that he's never gonna get her, and she doesn't like him, and really she does like him, and she's just literally put up a wall for some odd reason. It's just, what are you to do it?
Oh no. Wow.
Which leads me to the point of talking about confidence in a relationship. Little side story there, lead to the present moment. So, when I'm nervous, I have this thing, I talk too much. Sometimes I just can't shut the hell up. That's not true, I can shut the hell up. I actually shut the hell up a lot of the time because I don't talk to anybody. I need to stop saying I don't talk to anybody because I obviously talk to my walls, I talk to my chairs, I talk to my dog. I don't have a dog. I talk to my cat. I mean, I have dogs that come around sometimes, but they're not my dog. Dogs. But I do talk to them. And I talk to things. I might talk to this lamp. Sorry, concentrate. Okay, so confidence in a relationship. I guess, yeah, witnessing these two situations of like the girl wants the guy wants the girl, and then they like lost in translation, and then they're literally like not getting together because like of these like silly stuff, yeah. It makes me feel like we're not being transparent enough about the truth of life. Like, so for example, aside from confidence, right, because I feel like confidence in a relationship is a little bit different, but I think it does bleed into this, right? I don't know if that's a good way of putting it, bleed into it. Connects to this, right? Because it's like, if you knew the truth, like if you knew like he really wants you, if you knew she really wants you, like then maybe you would stop being so like insecure about yourself, and you would have like confidence to know, right, well, I bring value to this, I have the right to be here, I am amazing while I'm here. And I guess that will solve like a lot of problems, because I feel like confidence, right, is about believing that you bring value, that you are of a great substance, and that you are amazing. Fair enough, right? You may think this of yourself, and if somebody else doesn't agree with you, and they don't validate how you feel about yourself, then your confidence can go down. Depending on how strong your confidence is, your confidence could go down because like the outside world is not validating how you feel. And actually, I've been paying attention as to how important this is, because I feel like we're trying to teach a world where you have to be self-sufficient, and you should only rely on yourself, and you know, you're your own boss, and you're the one responsible, and you know, you should love yourself first, and you should like have confidence in yourself first. But let's be real here, right? The whole entire world validates it or they reject it, and you live amongst others. So if the whole world is telling you that you're ugly, I will get to a point here because I know that I'm going down the negative hole here for a second, but I'm going to rescue it, right? But if the whole world is telling you you're ugly and you're the only one that thinks that you're pretty, no. If that doesn't faze you, that's amazing. But that will faze anybody that I know, or they'll just like stop caring about it instead of like letting it faze them. Like they'll just be like, okay, well, I don't care if I'm ugly or pretty, let's move on with the conversation, right? But the point is that the outside world is very important in everything, because they validate us, they give support, they give the ear, they give the eyes, they give the presence. Like, you can't live this world just by yourself, and you can, yeah, but eventually you obviously like have to go and buy food, you have to do stuff, and eventually you have to interact with other people. And actually, if you live a life where you're trying not to interact with others, I guess that's also doable, but that's a whole other conversation, because I feel like we're here to be together, like hence why we're all here. My memory died there. My memory got full up, so I had to delete some old stuff on my memory card. Anyway, what's the same? Basically, just to conclude, right, I feel like we're all very important to each other, because we all give to each other. We all give gifts of like either our presence or our skills or our mind. Like, we're just here to be together. So I feel like it is important that other people validate us. Oops. I know that that's like so against what other people are saying, yeah? What? Sorry, I had to pause there because maybe it's not about validation, and it is about validation, but what I'm saying is that, and also I'm gauging that the brain is so, what's that word? Impressionable. Like, I have the power to make people think whatever I want them to think, depending on how hard I want it, or for them to think something. Yeah, I can literally work to like manipulate, and I don't want to use that word manipulate, influence people to think things, right? And then I feel like that's how interactions work with brains at the moment, is that like we just influence each other, so actually, if I want somebody to believe that I'm confident, there's a way to do that, and I could literally convince anybody that I come across that I'm confident. I just have to figure out how to do that, and literally then it's just as simple as influencing somebody to believe that. Some people are harder to influence, some people are easy to influence, a lot of people are easy to influence, influence. There's a small number of people that are not easy to influence, and it will probably be like 1 in 10, so then that's still like a high number that's like not easy to influence. But whatever, this is how we interact with each other. Anyway, so moving on with the confidence in a relationship, I feel like this is like, it just ties into the whole thing. Like, are you aware of the value that you bring? Do you think that you have value? What do you think of yourself? What is it that you want others to think of you? Do you work hard, or do you work at that influence? Like, do you influence people to believe what you want them to believe about you, or do you not care? Or are you scared of influencing others? Are you scared of taking charge of what other people think of you? Because literally that's what you do, you take charge. Like, I'm going to be in charge of what you think of me based on how strong I come across, and that's gonna impress your mind into believing something. And then if you are hard to impress, like the ones that are not easy to like influence, if you spend time with that person, still you break their barriers by just being the example of what you say you are, which is deciding who you are. So then when you bring that into a relationship now, I really do think it's about deciding what your value is, and then sticking to those values, and then accepting relationships only based on if they see your value. So if I want to be, I don't know if I'm talking in riddles there, I'm really sorry if I am, right? Which I probably am. Okay, so if I want a guy to believe that I am clever, I believe that I am, gosh, I'm just gonna talk about a bunch of stuff about my brain. I believe that I'm clever, I believe that I'm smart, I believe that I've got skills, I believe that I'm sexy, I believe that I wanna be the person's only love story, I believe that I wanna be their only star, I believe that a relationship should be monogamous, I believe that we should be best friends in a relationship. I believe that we should support each other. I believe that we should talk. I believe that we should have similar interesting conversations, so then we can talk, because to me talking is very important. I love talking. I love talking about deep things. If you don't like to talk about deep things, then that's going to be a clash. So I've got all these things, and then also then I have the belief of what those things mean. It means that I am an amazing person because I like to talk about deep things. I like to, and this is centered on my character, so this could be, it is different across like everybody else, so then you would have different things. I like fashion, I like to talk about fashion. I think it's beautiful when we could present ourselves in like this like fashionable way. I feel like that brings value to people, because then I can make you feel confident with yourself and how you look. So if you look at yourself as a package, and first you agree on your package, right, this automatically puts you in a place of strength, of having confidence in yourself. Now with the whole validation of like somebody then has to then validate you, and I feel like we tend to accept lovers or relationships or boyfriends or girlfriends not based on that compatibility, and it's more based on shallower things. Like, for example, oh, he looked at me and he gave me the eye, and then that eye made me feel like, oh, and then like we kissed and the kiss was just like so nice, and I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm assuming this is what people do, and then like, oh, the way he touched me, because for me touch is important. If somebody touches me right, I'll be like oh, he touched me right, so then yes, he's my soulmate. And it's like, hold on, break, pause, because like, where's all the other stuff? And all the other stuff is, can that person be compatible, and can they validate you by agreeing with what you think you are and your strengths and your values? Do they compliment you? Do they agree with you? And before you agree to have sex with them and to be in partnership with them, you should really be clear in these things, either through conversations or even through, that's the only way, because we don't talk telepathically yet. So you have to have these conversations to see if you're on the same wavelength. Do you see me this way? Am I convincing you of these values? Are we on the same wavelength in regards to these values? Do you want to have conversations with me about deep stuff? Do you believe that, you know, God is real, or whatever it is? These conversations need to be had before you open up that heart space of yours, because I've learned to like control my heart space, because before, like I said, it just took a touch to get me to fall in love, or just, sorry, it's true, it just took small things to get me to fall in love. And now I'm just a bit like, hold on a second, no thank you, my heart would not be activated. And I feel like we do need to control that a little bit more. So now, if you have found somebody who's compatible, who can validate the things that you think about yourself, the way that you see yourself, then you may enter. And then I feel like the confidence will never be broken. So then you could be confident in yourself that you are this amazing person in any relationship that you have. So I know I keep saying the validation, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. So let's for a second paint a picture of somebody that they don't need to validate you, that you just validate yourself. But here's the thing, if they end up not supporting you and they end up not seeing your worth, right, you're going to end up breaking up that relationship anyway. So basically you're saying the same thing as me, but just in a different way. Oh, so that didn't work because you didn't support me, you don't see my worth, you treated me badly, so then you're breaking up with them. So if their validation wasn't important, you would remain in that relationship, but you don't, do you? Because you see that relationship as abusive, you see that relationship as toxic. But really it's the fact that you didn't take the time to see if they validated you before you entered it. And if they validate you, then it doesn't break your confidence. So fair enough, you might think, oh no, even if they don't validate me, we break up, that doesn't break my confidence. I just know that that person wasn't for me. That's not the truth for a lot of people, because broken relationships always hinders somebody's confidence. Oh no. So somebody might say, well, that's where you're wrong, because then you shouldn't let it break your confidence, because you should just see it as like, well, we just didn't match. And I feel like we're saying the same thing here, but you're just phrasing it in a different way, and you're willing to like just try things with people who don't validate you. And then if they do and they support you, then you say, oh, that relationship is supportive, that relationship is amazing, yes, he supports me, yes, I'm gonna stay with him. But really it's the same thing. They validated you, they agreed on your value, they agreed on your amazingness, and then they saw you for how you see yourself. Yeah. Now I guess there's like one more question in regards to this. Are you then able to convince somebody who doesn't see your value? Because if what I'm saying is like true, then surely then you can you can influence somebody to see you the way you want them to see you. So that's what you're saying, Nayna. Then I should, you know, if somebody's being toxic towards me, I should be able to influence their brain to stop doing that, or to validate me. Because, you know, if we're influencing each other's brains, that's all it takes, is for me to like work hard enough and convince that person that I am worth it. And you can't go saying that, Nayna, because that's just toxic, right? So let me think about that for a second. I'm not even thinking about it, sorry. Let me think about it for a second. I think it goes back to the ones that are easy to manipulate, and the ones that are, and I keep using the word manipulate and I don't mean to, because it's more about like impressionable brains, and brains that are not so easily impressionable, but I keep saying manipulate and I'm so sorry. But the ones that are easy to manipulate, yes, you can almost force the validation by impressing them and by making them believe and then agreeing with how you see yourself. Yes, the ones that are not easy to impress, those are the ones that are just, it will take a bit more work, it will take a bit more time. But usually those people are very set in their ways, because they themselves have an idea about life, and so then they already have an idea about you. So then I'd say that you can work harder, but then is it worth the fight, when really in the end they might not even, you know, allow the validation to ever come about, because they believe in what they believe in, and that's that. And maybe this is like a vibe thing, right? Where it's like, I vibe with this person, but I don't vibe with that person. So I guess in that way, it's like you should choose to be in relationships with people who you vibe with and not who you don't vibe with. So then your confidence is not broken. Because like, let's say that you decided to stay with this person and you think it's up to you to have confidence. It's not up to them. They don't validate you. They don't think that highly of you. Isn't that gonna like hinder your confidence? And then also, don't you want your partner to like really support you and compliment you and you know, lift you up? And so then we start talking about this toxic environment, right? Because you weren't able to make that person validate you, because they're not validating you. So doesn't that like then make you like not confident? And this is what I'm saying. Shouldn't we then pick our partners based on if they can validate you or not? Wow. Anyway, I just went around in circles. I don't even know, like, I hope that all of that made sense, because I really feel like I'm talking sense here. So I feel like confidence in relationships comes from first agreeing about who you are, deciding who you are, deciding on what makes you amazing, you know, having that conversation with yourself, and then partnering up with people who validate that and who agree with that, so then they can then help lift you up and help keep your confidence in place of yourself rather than destroy it and devalidate it and make you feel rubbish about yourself. And we have every right to be in these like confident relationships, because actually, isn't that amazing to just be confident and then have somebody who lifts you up and believes in what you believe in? So yes, right, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for listening. I shall be back with more chit chat. Until then, have a great time of life and yes, be happy. All right, bye.